Iran joined China to defend Putin against the West, and in return, Kremlin indicates new plans to use Iran's nuclear capabilities against us, and this is Disrupt. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Disrupt. This is Tuesday, 15th of March, and this is the Ukraine brief, where we give you the updates you're not either getting from the mainstream media or they're giving you all the propaganda and manipulation from all sides, depending on what media outlets you're watching, of course. So let's talk about the Ukraine brief and the relations between Russia and the other two weirdos, Iran and China. So NATO have made a lot of mistakes in the past, and they overplayed their hands in the past. And we know, also, I literally just got the notification on my phone on Twitter. Basically, they're now saying that Russia have formally asked to take back Alaska. This is the banter timeline that we're dealing with right now. So essentially, what we have is Iran are joining the same propaganda game as China to play the West, to manipulate the West. And the update came out earlier today that Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, who's a hostage in Iran, they want to basically use her as leverage to continue to survive the Iranian regime. Some people think it's about that £400 million debt that the West owes Iran, which is not really a thing because it was under the Shah before the revolution, but they don't really care about the money either. It's actually all about leverage and mind games. Kremlin are now saying that the West sanctions are affecting the Iran deal. So they're saying, if you really care about the Iran deal, Joe Biden, the European Union, Boris Johnson, all you guys, now that Trump is not around to be against the Iran deal, if you really want the Iran deal, if you want it to stop Iran, then stop the sanctions against Kremlin. How is that relevant? We know why they make it relevant. And NATO are stupid enough until now. It's not really NATO, it's basically the Western allies, because it was not under the umbrella of NATO until now. All of them were stupid. The UK, France, US, Canada, every single one of them until Trump became president. Pre-2016, Obama led this movement, and we stalled out to Iran and Russia, specifically Iran, obviously, with the Iran deal, and now they can use it against us. Iran are basically playing the same game as China, saying, well, we're not taking sides, guys. We want to de-escalate. Can everybody calm down? And then they go and support Kremlin. It's so obvious, but people keep falling for it. A lot of people, including the media here, are falling for it. So they're now in Moscow, Iranians. They're seeking to salvage this deal, Iran deal. At the same time, basically, the Kremlin are encouraging this to happen because they want a fake Iran deal. So there's diplomacy between Iran and West, so there's no actual conflict. But they want Iran to continue with the nuclear capabilities. And it's happening. There's so much evidence that keep coming out from Iran that they already have. They keep working on it, despite promising the West that, well, no, we just want nuclear energy. No, we have nothing. No, we have no plans that's actually sorting out any enrichments. Yeah, sure, absolutely. We believe you, Iran. Absolutely believe you, if you say so. So Russia and now Kremlin are using Iran against us, against just mind games. It's proxy to essentially anger the NATO side. Not really sure if this poking the bear thing is now happening from both sides. The West poking the Putin bear. Putin is poking the NATO bear. And it's now the game of poker. It's moved on from chess. It's simply poker. Everything is about bluffing. And so the Western media are spreading the propaganda side saying, oh, the Russian army, within minutes, it's going to collapse. Whether true or not, doesn't really matter. It's just about that propaganda. It's to kind of boost morale. The other side are saying, well, no, we got China and Iran backing us. We are prepared. We are not going anywhere. Kremlin is here to stay. It really depends what the angle is, because Iran, like China, as I said, their political line is, this is actually from Press TV's website. So this is Iran propaganda machine, saying Iran supports any political effort to resolve the Ukraine crisis. I believe you. Yes. Because definitely countries like Iran, regimes like Iran or China, they don't want conflicts. They don't want trouble, right? Or Kremlin themselves. Clearly, they did not go to Afghanistan, to Iraq, to Syria, to all the Central Africa, North Africa, every single place you could see, Sudan, Yemen, everywhere. All these, the three weirdos, they definitely did not go to cause trouble, to stir the pot. And they blame the West. The West are also guilty, we know. Like every single intervention, most, apart from you could say, some people could say Kosovo is an exception, right? Sure. Apart from like tiny conflicts, most interventions that the West made just stirred the pot. Again, Iraq, Afghanistan, like many, Libya is the latest one, again, didn't really go well. So it comes from both sides when it comes to intervention. But one side says, well, this is humanitarian intervention. The other side says, well, we don't intervene. You're all lying. Every single side is lying. Russia, China, Iran, you're all lying to the West, but people don't really see that side of it. The problem I have is that if you want to be objective, let's focus on this. So again, this is Press TV propaganda. Press TV did this headline, literally next to the other headline, saying, well, Saudi must be held accountable for this recent news that came out yesterday. About, what was it, about 100 people lost their lives. Who can say that's wrong? As in, like, what Iran says is wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Saudi, the regime is evil. They're a bunch of mental nutters. We get it, right? It really depends what you want to say as freedom-fighting Westerners. Those who say, the like libertarian, isolationist, anti-conflict people saying, we shouldn't intervene with any country. Just look after your own side first. Cool, got it. Does that mean that we should we should condemn countries? So if you want to get involved and intervene, even verbally, with Saudi, then it should also do with the Kremlin. At the same time, Saudi are not necessarily complete allies, but they're frenemy/allies. It's the responsibility of the West to do something about this. If there is actual friendship, business friendship between Saudi and the West, right? America and Saudi, and now UK and Saudi. If they are your friends, then tell them, talk to them, sort it out. If you don't have the influence, then decide. Are you going to be cutting off ties or just head buried in the sand? And at least be honest with the people. Boris Johnson, Joe Biden, come out, make a statement, say, for these reasons, pros and cons, well, we could release a statement condemning Saudi, but we're not going to interfere. Because I get it. Because if you want to intervene in Saudi, then that means you're going to have to intervene in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Iran, China, North Korea, Russia, Ukrainian corrupt government before the conflict started. Every single corrupt regime. Cuba, Venezuela. So we have to kind of either, if you're going to go black and white, don't go black and white. Either intervention everywhere or isolation completely. Or if you're going to be pragmatic like me, take things case by case, then take things case by case. There are so many people right now using the Saudi thing, the news yesterday, a couple of days ago, as a gotcha thing against the Western government, saying, you care about Ukraine but not Saudi. Again, that's just gotcha game. Who cares about that? It's just, the grown-ups should be in charge, and we don't really have grown-ups anymore. Do you think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the grown-ups? No. So the whole thing is collapsing because no one knows who's in charge. Like, who's actually leading this? The narrative, the world order that we created since 1944, 1945, and that was the whole narrative. This is now a new, a fresh world order that we have. And it was mostly run by the capitalist democratic side of the world. And of course, that's how the Soviet Union came back up again. The communist ideology started to counter this world order. This current world order, who is leading it? I'm not in terms of like Illuminati in that sense. What is the narrative? I'm not really sure exactly what the point of the United Nations is right now. What is the point of the European Union? So that's exactly why Iran, China, and all these guys can take advantage of this, the shortcomings that we're currently seeing from the West. But I thought I'd give you this update from obviously Iran and China's intervention in Russia, because there's absolutely nothing that you could actually find in Western media outlets. Don't forget, send your news in your world stories to lacey@mytc.co.uk so that we could end each show with a segment on positivity, some sort of happy news, and because otherwise it's just too dark. Now, to end today's show on some positive note, Dawn Butler has been cancelled on Cameo. She's decided to give up her Cameo career. This is courtesy of Guido Fawkes for finding this story. Society is a bit happier and safer without Dawn Butler being on Cameo. If you don't know, Cameo is an app where I'm actually on it, in case you don't know. Cameo is an app where people who are known, let's just say, people can actually pay them to give out shout outs or whatever, any message that they want. Nigel Farage is very big on that, and happy birthday shout outs, whatever. So Dawn Butler is no longer on it. So let's celebrate that people can actually have some peace in their lives. Now we're going to start the News in the World segment properly within the next few days. As you guys, as I said, just send out your stories to lacey@myotc.co.uk. We'll see you guys there. And don't forget, subscribe, click on the bell next to it, and give us feedback on this new segment, the new show called Disrupt.